Yeah, I want to know.
You know.
I wanna know.
What up?
No.
Evening.
Jay, you gonna stay on your phone all the time
How'd you do intro?
For sure, I have it on.
Is going on.
Good evening.
Good evening. We're late. But we're right on time for loving you.
Toya's always on time with her singing.
Sharing with you.
We can definitely
Right on
count on
If
that.
she can't do nothing else, she gonna sign.
Right on
We
time.
can't even get her to work, but she can sign. We can't get her to work, but that girl knows she can sign. That girl out good.
She good.
She is good.
Yeah.
She
We're
is.
going to get theme music today. The producers at 4741 Media. Do we get music?
That's the studio there.
Yeah.
Say we want music. Ready or not,
4741.
here we come. We need some songs. Like we got some bunch of songs, but you know,
Yeah, we
we
want to hear
might
some music
rotate
today.
theme songs from time to time to time.
Yeah.
I like the rotation.
I like rotation too.
Yeah.
Rotate, flip it around, turn it around. Now see, we're supposed to be on here at 7:00 because I make this cute little announcement. So if you saw it,
So
where are we gonna get music? Hey.
Hey.
I'm Toy Victorious, aka Toy Matthews. I flip it around sometimes, Toy Matthews. I am Latoya. You know my
are
name.
we on?
You don't
Yeah,
listen to
yeah.
introduction.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't want to listen. Just in case, yes, this is a practice run. This is the stuff that is looking at that. That's the real stuff.
Yeah.
Fluffing around.
It's
Why are
raw.
you
It's raw.
whispering?
It's raw.
Yes.
Hold on. I looked up this stuff about which state is it illegal to teach. It's illegal to teach Juneteenth. Did y'all know that? What state have banned the teaching of Juneteenth? Did y'all know that?
They banned it.
See, y'all didn't even know
Certain
that.
states?
Boom. Hold on, that's something to
Hey,
discuss.
let's finish the intros first.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just doing that in the window. We on right. You know what? I kind of like seeing these little pre-edits before the actual thing.
Me
Just
too.
the actual
I saw both
the people in the background. Should we shut the door? Shut the door, please.
I saw both your girls.
Where
They
you
said, is
at?
that Miss McKinney?
Just
Yes,
put,
it is.
don't
That's
shut
the
it all the way
fabulous
because
Miss
we'll be
McKinney.
hot.
That's
Just
her.
shut it up.
That's her live
Voices
in the
the
flesh.
Is that what somebody said?
You know, they voices in the Come on up. You want to be in the camera? Come on
I
up.
won't be the camera.
Oh,
They said somebody said, "Is that Miss McKinney?"
They tell me quit stalking. Quit stalking the teacher on the site.
A matter of fact, questions are out. I'll just key it.
Am I over here? Hey,
I'll
y'all
just-
make sure y'all
I'll
share
just
this
key
stuff
in
with
on-
me and on
I knew
the
all things. So, like I said,
Hey, can I post can I post so much joy on YouTube? Hello? Can I post so much joy on YouTube?
Why are you cooking?
I was just asking, I was just making sure it's okay.
You know what? Let's just go and finish because y'all tripping.
I don't understand what you're doing.
No, it ain't about that.
Toy.
What you want me to do? Oh.
I have to promote it.
Yeah, Miss McKinney, I went to school.
Aisha, you are the girl. Aisha. You played that for me.
Yeah. Come on in,
You
y'all.
want this? Which one you want? Which one you want? You don't want this one? So you don't want this one?
Come on, let's get out some goodness out here.
See, I don't wanna feel
Just lay back.
like I can't be loved.
Yeah. You don't want to feel like that.
And I ain't trying to feel like I'm not enough.
Ooh, don't feel like
And
you.
I ain't trying to feel myself up with doubt.
Don't fill yourself up with doubt, girl.
Only second
Why you second guessing yourself?
got me strung out.
Oh, that got you strung out, girl.
And the voices Yes, they say you can be great. And I know that is what I do.
What you do, girl?
That determines my fate. Hallelujah, hallelujah, anyhow, when I lose my way, yeah, just keep the faith. And when you're free, meditate on what it is and speak.
Yeah, you'll make a lot of people cry and laugh and smile at the same time.
Do it.
Yeah. Every other day it's like a fight with myself. And I want somebody by my side. That's my shit right now. Yeah. That's my jam now, but I love that song. Yeah.
Yo, I am Toy Victoria.
Yeah.
So Matthew, you can turn it down just a little bit.
Born
you
to
gonna
be
do your rap?
successful.
Nah. Okay. What up, dog? I am Toy Matthews, aka Toy Victorious, and Daraha. He is Hurrah.
I am putting this damn lemon in my
I know what I'm saying.
That's why
And it ain't even no real limit, so you wasting our time right now. Tell them folks your name. Oh, come on.
Girl, you just was asleep. So
I wasn't sleeping him.
this you I know.
You might as well have been asleep.
But that shit on your
Fake
head,
lip
you look like you sleep. But anyway, I am the wonderful Birmingham Jay, and y'all have to excuse me this evening.
You excuse.
Excuses, what it is.
And what we have right here, we have
Excuses,
a beautiful young tender in the middle of us right now, cuz.
Yes, I am an educator.
Yes.
I am Deb, and I'm here to give a few things that I think that would have both myself as an educator and parents.
Yes,
Looking forward.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm
Yes,
so
yes,
excited.
Yes, thank you for joining us this evening. And we are here with our 4741 media crew, bucking up, producing, proud, pow.
Today it's been sponsored by
CEO to Patrick.
Coors Light. Coors Light.
CEO Pat Mac.
CEO Pat Mac. And if you is in a certain time bubble here, if you're joining in with us and you're in a certain time bubble and you remember Aisha, do you remember Aisha?
Got a girl I never had.
And I want to get to
Know you better.
She's in the house tonight, girl and boys.
Why she hide?
Yes.
Why
She's here. Aisha, the girl that she never had, is here tonight.
I'm not
she
on the
hide?
panel. I'm not hiding.
But I was going to say, and I'd like to start off, I might intervene in some of the conversations that we're having here.
Okay.
But like I say, as an educator with a master's degree, with many years of experience under my belt, I ran across this piece that I definitely would like to share. And I think it's helpful for educators, teachers, and parents.
Okay.
And the one point is, if you can let your child argue with you, then they would argue with me once they get to school. Point number 2, if you let your child speak to you in a disrespectful manner,
Okay.
what do you think will happen?
Yeah.
Soon as they get in my reading class, which they have difficulty reading, then they would not be very respectful to me. Point number 3, if you allow your child to break any rules without any consequences,
Okay.
then they won't follow any rules at school.
Yes.
Oh. That's really
You see, the bottom line is you are your child's first and most important teacher. It starts right there. We can only build off the foundation that you have instilled with them at home.
Right.
And if we all work together as a team, with those, implementing those things, and I think our kids will be more profitable and more successful. I do want to say to parents, contact your school counselors, about resources. There are so many after school program, peer tutoring, and things of that nature. So if we would just implement, put forth an effort
Right.
to look into our school resources, because they are there and available.
Right.
But those were my key points, and I do know that's difficult.
I have a question for you. Go back to rule number 3.
Number 3.
Read that for me one more time.
It says, if you allow your child to break rules without consequences,
Okay.
then they will not do what I say
Right.
once they get in the classroom.
Right. And
So,
yeah.
I want to ask you a question too. Well, with that right there, that rule number 3, what do you think would be, that seems like that's a pretty big reason of why we having a lot of defiant children right now, as far as when they turn 18 or 16 or 17, and you have a lot of parents that's actually having problems out of their child because they didn't do what rule number 3 said when that child was 6 or 7 or 8.
Right. Well, here again, and I implement this. I mean, this is like what I do. It's parent contact. I think if you get parent involvement with teachers, let parent know A, B, C, D, E, pick up the phone and call. And teachers don't always call when something is bad happening. Call and give your kids some positive input. Hey, Johnny's doing good today, kind of thing.
Like when you used to have the PTA, but so like here's some of those things.
And we still have the PTA. Some is just not as functional as the others.
About like the Birmingham City Council meetings.
Well, I think PTA stands for part-time attending right now.
Well,
only
I thought it stood for Parent Teacher Association. What it ever stood for? What does it stand for?
That's what it stands for.
That's what it stands for. That was.
I thought it was-
Ain't you a substitute teacher?
Yes, when I choose to be, I qualify.
Yeah,
You
I qualify to be a teacher. Yeah, I did that. I did it for a minute. I did it. And I did good with my children's. So it wasn't my children's. Me and my children's did fine. I had them on all age levels. I had.
Well, do you stand in the mirror and teach yourself?
Yes, I do. Quite often.
Oh, okay.
Not quite often, but from time to time. But like when you have these children in the children in the classrooms, and you have the different situations. Some of these children have they have the mental issues. Then you have the children who have the parents who have the mental issues. And then you have the children who have the mental issues as a result of their parents having the mental issues that's bearing down on them. So you have so many facets, and you have some children who have a release when they come to school and they find a friend in their teacher or a proper adult, oh my God, who is more righteous, who is more godly, who is not someone who is similar to what they have at home, or somebody they feel like they confide in, or someone they feel like is a protector or a nurturer or a caregiver or something like that. You have those kids, and you have those kids who don't know how to be, and it's so many circumstances. You can have 30 kids in your classroom, because this is what they've been talking about lately, that the classes are overcrowded, but you can have 30 children in your classroom in 30 different case scenarios. How because you're a person yourself, how does a teacher, a person who's put in that position to deal with these children 6 to 8 hours a day? Because let's be frank, most of these children spend more time with their teachers or their caregivers or, wherever other than their parents during the time when school, is in.
Well, I was going to say an effective teacher with that scenario, what you just said, would be excellent in classroom management. I mean, she's been to workshops, she know blah, blah about classroom management. And she would make those 30 kids in her classroom work. I've seen it done.
And you know what I've also said, like I was on TikTok yesterday, for example, because, we bear on social media a lot. And, he told me that, you were coming and we were talking about education, and just so happened, I feel like this was a spark from the universe. I just happened to come across videos that showed teachers interacting with their children. And I also saw that these teachers were white. and they were interacting with their Black children, with the Black children, and the main way that they were connecting to them it was through the arts.
What up, Ski?
They were dancing, they were singing, they were doing those things in the art, which brings me to this. One of the main things that are cut out of the programs when they do the budgets for schools in states is the art program.
That's right. I agree with that.
And this is how a lot of people, and children are humans, people, they're people. So this is how the young people express themselves through the arts. I mean, the arts is a main channel. Even if you do main work like carpentry or even in the medical field, there's an art to that. You might like how you slice your heart up or something like that. If you have a gift inside of you and it's able to be nurtured, a lot of that is done through the art. But the first thing that they cut is the art program.
Well, I think all of those jobs eventually will become jobs. Is something that the school system should focus on. I mean, everything you said, from carpentry, from art, from heart surgery.
Okay.
So,
And they do
just
need to
think
teach them the businesses and the stuff like that is very important.
yeah, I mean, as opposed to being selective,
Yes.
it's a selection.
Yeah.
Right.
For certain kids to participate in the STEM program.
Right. Question. Being an educator and you have taught in a lot of different places, I want to ask you a question. Like, what's the difference, as far as teaching college, as far as teaching high school, as far as teaching middle school, and as far as just teaching, grade school, because you have taught in all levels.
Yes, and juvenile delinquent facilities as well.
Girl, you bad.
Here again, it's about management. It's about getting the kind of training that you need to increase your knowledge of education.
Blessings on blessings.
Yeah.
Okay, so Herman, I am a Huckleberry Shepherd, says, so bring them up in the way you want them to go. So thinking about what you say about bringing them up in the way you want them to go. Now, we can want them to go in a certain direction, like our parents would say to us, oh, we did the best we could with you, but you still do this, that, and the third. So here's my gray area in that. When parents are raising their kids up in the way they should go, what about what their children are seeing their parents do? You know what I'm saying? Are you leading by example, or are you just telling the children what to do? Like my mom used to tell me, you don't do as I do, you do as I say do. I don't think that's fair. That don't coincide with what I'm supposed to be doing. I think that a parent has a job, in between all of that. Now, if you can manage that situation to be able to do what you want to do in front of your children, and tell them, now you can tell, because my motto is in life, it's two things that a person can show you what to do and what not to do.
Tanya just said teachers are some of the most undervalued professions.
Huh?
Yes, and underpaid.
Underpaid
for sure.
Definitely, because they babysitting your children from 7 to 3.
It's not babysitting
and teaching. Yes.
All those things you said about those kids, all those personalities, everything they're going through at home for 8 hours. Somebody else dealing with it. Yeah.
And they did, and which means they are dealing with you.
Professional.
Right. So they dealing with them children, whoever them children are trying to become or becoming. Let me drop the trend. They're dealing with who those children are becoming, the people they're becoming, and they are dealing with their parents as well. Because all they got is their influence. Their influence are you, Miss Teacher, the children in their classroom, and they folks at home. And maybe the neighbor's kid who got the same influences around them, especially if they go to the same school. So it's imperative that the village, where are elders at? What's going on with that? And then, and elders don't just draw the line at old people because, young people aren't elders.
I mean, our elders have raised those children.
That's what I'm saying.
So then, we got to stop.
Yeah, you can't keep looking to the elders.
Yeah, that's what I said. The elders don't just stop. It goes. These young folks.
One question. There, a lot of these things that's actually going on right now with the youth, by you have taught in delinquent centers, and you have seen so much as being an educator.
Yes.
What do you think is the problem right now that we are having? On top of what do you think it would be a solution to that problem?
Well, I would just definitely like to start with the solution, and that would be, kids are going to get in trouble. You can't eliminate the Department of Youth Services, but the key thing is to train these kids, get these kids to learn how to read. Guys, you wouldn't believe the amount of kids that can't read. How many kids' parents can't read?
Oh, Father.
Mm-hmm. And so then that makes self-esteem low, and they acting out.
And if they would focus more on, if you are a juvenile, then what kinds of things that we can do, to make you more successful once you leave here.
Right.
Increasing your reading level, getting your GED, what kind of barbershop training, what kind of IT training.
Right.
But train those kids. Train them.
But
even before they'll have another avenue.
You got to start early with these new generation kids.
But then it's putting them in a facility that's able to train them in that manner. How come all the schools aren't able to provide and offer the same services? Like offer them the IT classes, offer them the business classes, offer them the accounting classes, offer them they quick to give you the the baby class and the home ec class. Because that's
one thing about it, just
that's
because
important,
you offer,
actually.
that don't mean a person got to
want to take it. Okay, just like they're about to be offering in some schools.
Early.
The different kind of
they mind made up.
Right, they're going to be offering the different kind of liberal teachings in school, right? And I got to get more into that.
I think everything starts at home. It goes back to number 3. I can't get off number 3. Everything starts at home, and once you go to bucking back, if you don't handle that situation, then and every time a child buck back, it ain't always about slapping them and hitting them and beating them. Why are you bucking back? Sometimes children bucking back because they being molested by somebody around. You know what I'm saying? So you have to
some really inadequate adult. Yes.
You got to have a relationship with your child. You know what I'm saying? We got to understand when a person says, "That's the problem now. Your child, your friend." I want my child to be my friend. I don't care what nobody say. Yeah. You can. Yeah. My child, my children gonna be my friend. So but it's a way. Just because that's your friend. Because let me tell you something. I'm a friend that ain't no turn on you. Yeah. I'm a friend that ain't never leave you.
But see,
I'm a friend when shots are fired. And it's your child.
I think a lot of times it depends on how you
are.
But it's
how you look at being a friend toward your kids.
I ain't say my homeboy.
I'm just saying.
Think about it. A friend and a homeboy and a homegirl, that's a difference.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of nurturing. It's just explaining in a different way. You have a different kind of raising, a different understanding of God. Let's start there. And a lot of people in these days and these times and these generations, they ain't got no whole value understanding of God or something that's in a higher power that's of some kind of righteousness and goodness that separates them. Anything that has rules that separates them just from being common. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was divides you just from being an animal. The rules. And people say, "Oh, what is a God?" If you want to think about God, it's the rules. You want to take God out of schools. You want to take God. You want to take the soft rule out. And everything that you got a soft bully, and you gotta, I want to do what I want to do, and everybody do what they want to do. But how many of everybody that want to do what they want to do good things? But if anybody want to raise hell,
well, we all know that God is good, but I don't want to get on that.
Well, we ain't getting into that
conversation of
religion. We ain't getting into that.
But you know what? My thing is this too. We can't. At the end of the day, we can't drift off into so many different things because you got people blaming the mayor for their parenting. You have people blaming the person next door for their parenting, the teacher for their parenting. And that's the thing that I'm on. Like how, because we know when you have a job, you're going to see that person working with you. You're going to see your supervisor, your foreman. You're going to see them more than you see the people at home. So your child is gonna see that teacher more than they see their mom and their dad.
And most of them ready for them to go to them teachers. They can't wait till the bell ring. Take your ass out of here. Go to school. They don't know what kind of relationship. If you friends with your teacher, great.
Well, and another issue is in the schools, in education, is that children are having children.
Oh.
And not knowing how to raise their children. But there are parenting classes. I mean, we got all kind of resources, to get this thing right with us, y'all.
Yeah, you just gotta be willing.
Yes, there was a young girl I was substitute teaching over at, well, I won't say the school, whatever. Anyway, I was over at school and
gotta be willing.
She already had a kid. She was pregnant with another, and it was a little white girl. I don't know. She was so hooded out, you couldn't even tell her she was really culture struck. But whatever the case may be, a white girl had a black baby daddy, or I think she probably had been a little Hispanic. But anyway, what stood out to me was that she was talking to me. I didn't know what to say to this child, but she told me that her grandfather told her, "You ain't nothing but a hoe. You ain't gonna be nothing but a hoe." That's what you ain't gonna be nothing but a hoe like your mama. That's what I said. I said, your granddad told you that.
So you go back
I didn't know what to say.
It go back to number 3.
Granddaddy should
It's
put on some birth
I didn't know
control.
what to say.
Long time ago.
But
I
let's
was
take
hurt.
it back
I
to
can't
number
imagine
3.
my granddad
It
saying
goes
that.
back to number 3. Everything goes back to home. You see what I'm saying? So where's that child right now?
But sometimes
Where
you
is
can
this
do
child
everything
right
you're
now?
supposed
Where
to
she
do
done
at
had
home.
that baby by now?
What about them kids?
You want to know what? You're gonna have out of 100%. You're gonna always have a 10% that's a string. But at the end of the day, trust me, at the end of the day, if you do what you can as a mother and a father,
That's all you can do.
that's all you can
But
do.
you have to raise them and you have to show love. And you have
But
to
I
raise
want to say that's all you can do, but you better not ever give up on
right.
Period.
Period.
But
You
how?
have to give them to the Lord sometimes.
Give them to the
You know what?
Lord.
I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all something.
When they turn 18, give them to the Lord.
Get them to the
You
Lord.
know what? She said one thing that was very important, and I bet you right now, a lot of people don't even think about this right here. How do you not know teenage pregnancy still was worse in the 90s than it is right now? Teenage pregnancy.
Yeah, but they had different parents. Those parents back then was gonna help.
But see,
But
the minor
then.
babies, the ones, how
Well,
old
you
they
talking
is
about
now.
them
If you go back then, them mamas went. It was they mamas. It was the grandmamas.
Well, that's
We
what
do
he
the
just
math.
said.
They had a better support system then
That's
than
what
they do
I
now.
said.
The grandmamas,
That's what he
that's
just
just
said.
like these grandmamas used to. Because guess what? The children that was having children, them the parents now.
Yes.
And the babies that's running wild, that's
That's the
them.
parents. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
The children, the parents that was running wild.
So
That-
what,
that
babies got
what
babies now.
age range we talking about?
I don't know.
That's what I'm
because I
saying.
wasn't
But
From
young.
I'm
the 90s,
saying
you talking about
they had a better
20,
support
they
system.
25, 26.
No, they're 30. Some of them is 30 now. 32.
The one that's wilding out.
Yeah, them the ones.
That's what I'm talking about.
They were, but
These
that's-
Some of them.
the
some of them.
offspring of
Not
the,
all of them.
the offspring of the ones that was running around in the 90s.
Yeah, but I'm saying they had
You
a
know,
better support system.
I
Ain't no
wasn't
support
here in the
system
90s.
now.
Yes, it's no support system.
But you got to think about it.
Because our elders are dead.
If the support system was so bad, look at the stacks of the 90s and look at the stacks now. You still ain't outdoing the 90s.
I mean, y'all doing it, but I mean, it's way worse.
Yeah, because y'all ain't taught your
No,
children
right.
shit. Y'all age group. Not talking about you personally.
Man,
I'm talking about
okay,
y'all
okay. Back then, think about it. The 16 to 20-year-olds. How many kids at the 16, 20 was murdering like these kids today?
Exactly. No.
No, I ain't saying it wasn't happening.
No, today it's worse.
No, it's not.
You can look at the statistics for Alabama.
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Because they killing online.
Hold on, pull it up from 89 to 96. I guarantee you right now. Pull it up.
Somebody
from
pull it up.
89
Pull it
to
up.
96.
Okay.
Birmingham.
No,
Man,
we
you
got
had
it. We
the
got it.
gangs. The gangs when the
I know the
gangs
game
hit the
was bad.
city.
I know the game was
Man,
bad.
it was rough, bro. You was getting robbed for your hoodie. Man, you couldn't even wear Jordans.
But that's just
But I'm
that.
saying, I ain't talking about
That's
robbing.
in that
I'm
cell
talking about
block.
the murders, like the
Right.
kill
Yes, it
first
was.
mentality.
Man,
It was
you
more
know,
fights back
man,
then.
It
That's
didn't
just
matter.
what
Man,
it said.
my children did not lose as many friends as I lost. Many people in my high school that I lost. They did not lose that many friends like I did.
He looking at in that cell block, like in that
In his
cell
circle.
block of
Yeah.
But no, that
Well,
was
that's just
going
'cause-
on. No, not hell.
No,
That ain't
because
just my
they
circle. I'm
because
talking about
these
from the
children,
rink.
they dying
to-
from other stuff. He talking about just the ratio of people dying. That's in the
I don't know.
cell.
Man.
I can't speak on that. I have to
They
go
dying
with
from a whole bunch
statistics.
of other shit too. Like if you put
I'll
all
go with
those deaths
statistics.
together and put it next to that, and you're right.
Man,
Out of
it
that
ain't
block
no one
alone.
touch 91 and 92.
Right.
It ain't
out of
no
that
one
block
touch
alone, just that.
89,
But
90,
Okay.
94. I'm telling you, I done done this 1,000 times to folks. Man, that shit was rough when we was growing up.
I
And
was
people
in it.
felt, but I don't know what you was.
But you know what?
Listen, check
It
this out.
surpassed in 2021. In 1995, it was 121 homicides in Birmingham. In 2021, 122.
Now,
But how
check
many?
this out.
How many was
Check
done
this out.
by teenagers? Is what we're trying to find out.
Man, that-
Bro, I was
Man.
in it.
You know what? If you check this out, cuz.
On a different
If you
side
in
of
this
town.
world right here,
Me too.
look.
I wasn't
It's like this. It's
No,
like this.
I was already in
In the-
11th
in
grade.
the-
I was
in
in
the-
it.
I'm gonna
in
say,
the inner city.
look, north
Check it
side,
out.
west side,
Look, if this the inner city,
the
man.
west coast.
Okay, if I'm from the north side, I'm going to
Texas.
Look, I heard what I said. Ooh.
Man,
Lord, thank you,
look,
Jesus.
if I'm from the north side and I'm going to Southtown, and then I'm going to west side, and then I'm coming back to the east side, and I'm seeing the same thing in all these areas. Man, I'm talking about you didn't even have Facebook. You didn't have
No.
those things you got now. And when
So-
people had names then, they had to get out there and really work for them
I
names.
Googled by age.
So since we have Facebook and all the apps and all of that, how do you think that we can better
God,
our
dog, Toya,
community?
I'm putting on some background music while y'all
Community.
That'll be
We don't
fine.
need no background music. We do TikTok.
No, it's
A little
coffee jazz.
We don't
Wait,
need
she
that.
hold on. She answered a question.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Turn the music
Go
on,
ahead.
Toy. You ain't the producer.
Go ahead, cuz. I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
I
Auntie.
don't remember. I just really don't.
We're sorry for
That's
the
okay.
interrupted.
He stopped to see if they
Okay.
wouldn't have paid me no attention.
We heard it.
I remember. It was about, and you and Pat was having a conversation about how many deaths was done, blah, blah, blah. But I was thinking, and you said it was no Facebook or technology around. You know, what do you think? As an experienced person, you know, with all the deaths you've seen back in the day, and with this high tech knowledge that we have, how can we go community by community? You know, just one thing that we can start community by community.
Well, at that
Cleaning
time,
up
you
this
had
shit.
things like
You're talking
ping.
about now, right?
You had
No,
things like
I mean,
ping,
right now.
Mm-hmm.
partners in neighborhood growth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You had things that was in these areas that was actually helping the youth build. You know what I'm saying? Also, you know, you got to look at this. You got to look at the people, the leaders too, as well. You got to start. First of all, everything goes back to being a home. You know what I'm saying? Like the two parenting home was so different from the one parenting home.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we have to look at us. Stop looking at people outside your door. Like if you build a stable home, right? And if I'm worried about who building a stable home next door and the people down the street, I ain't doing right. I need to worry about my home. If everybody worry about the structure of their home, it'll be better.
A positive structure of their
Right,
own.
because I was like, what structures are being taught?
Mhm.
Is you-
Positive structure.
Right. Well, if we could be teaching one structure and they teach
But
another.
I'm being honest with you. If you teaching a structure, we got to start somewhere.
That's
Because
right.
if I'm teaching you,
Yes,
if I'm
that's true,
teaching
I
you,
agree.
don't put your hand in that plug. I'm teaching you some type of structure. These people ain't teaching nothing.
Mhm.
If you go in a lot of these
Some
people's
of-
house, it's nasty. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying if
Cleanliness.
you know, and that stuff come back to us. And when I say, okay, because you just said some of us. No, if you got the ratio of you got these black people, no matter
You're
if
not
you
gonna
do-
say all
if
black
you
people.
doing, I didn't- listen,
Oh,
let me
okay.
get through. If I'm saying you,
Mhm.
you won. And if you got 100,
Yeah, one more time.
by you being one, that don't even work. It doesn't, it's just like throw that one away. Gun that one out. You see what I'm saying? Because you got at 99, throw it away. So we
I
have
guess
to
I'm
build
just looking
structure.
at the people I try to surround myself around.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Point. We have to build us. And still building us ain't building a circle of 10. It's building a circle of you start in hundreds, thousands. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. We have to show better in order to do better. That's why I wanted to change the music that we was doing, even though I still do what I do.
Right.
I knew my sister was gonna bring a certain type of a vibration to actually vibe to us. I have somebody who hit me on coming to Texas to do a show, and he was like, Gotti, you can go on and you can do this with Gotti, and I'm like, no. You know what I'm saying? No. You know what I'm saying? Not knocking what he was saying, but we ain't on that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, I want you to really don't go off of what Birmingham J did then. I want you to go off of what we're doing now. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So, because back to this right quick. Music. And I wanna kind of go off that subject to something else right quick. Cause like I want to ask you a question because it's really like so unique what I'm gonna ask to me. By you being a leader, not only an educator, but you also like a leader is sorority sisterhood.
Yes,
so
I'm a Delta Sigma Theta.
Yeah. So
this y'all money.
I
think this y'all money.
Huh?
No, January.
Oh, we passed.
But it is our sisterhood month.
Oh, okay, that's it.
Oh, and I didn't even know that.
Happy sisterhood, Deltas, if you're all out there in radio land.
baby.
Not
So,
yet, but they coming.
Yeah, they coming.
What some of these things say, baby? I've been having a baby every. She got a lot of babies. That's what she said.
No, hold
up. But you were gonna ask.
She said.
What you gonna say?
It's been going on for decades.
What subject we were? Oh, the violence and stuff.
Yeah, baby having babies.
Everything come from home.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not all true.
Yeah, she said she did what she had to do.
Do it
as a teen mom.
Do it.
And she said more children did get killed in the 90s.
I ain't saying more children getting killed. I said who did the killing?
Children.
I'm telling you,
bro, man.
Bro.
I was in middle school. Everybody had a gun, Pat. You couldn't even walk home, and they was getting slaughtered, bro.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna find the statistics.
It said,
I don't know where you were, Pat, but this shit was going down, man. I'm talking about when I walked home from school, bro. And I was going to Wilkinson, and that was considered as like a black leader school. That was considered because a lot of people that went to school with me, mamas and stuff, was like lawyers and that when they brought the school system together.
She want a drink.
Oh, you
when they brought the school systems together.
I don't want a beer.
Oh.
When they brought the school system.
Go ahead, cuz.
When they brought the school system,
his story out.
When they brought the school systems together, back at that time,
right.
When they shut certain schools down and they brought the middle schools together,
they did.
Man, it was horrible.
Yeah, because you bought all these sides that's already against each other.
Yes,
and then the age
they brought them together, didn't they?
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember that. That was horrible.
Because I
decision.
I love Norwood. What in the 2nd or 3rd grade in Wintergarten now?
I want to know.
And like Gardendale at that time, man, I thought they were out of town. I'm just being real.
But I already went to school who all I ended up dealing with anyway.
And then think about it.
Norwood.
Look at Norwood. At that time, Norwood wasn't really like bad for real. Like it had some stuff going on, but it wasn't really like just stole away like that. Man, it just eventually just started sliding down the hill because guess what? you had
And the city
people
don't back
in
up the year
Norwood that was getting money.
Man, fifth grader whooped the principal, man, while I was down there.
Talking about Mr. Golston.
No, because Golden was the gym teacher.
Mr. Golston was a principal when I was there.
Hasbury was the principal.
Who was Mr. Golston?
Yeah,
I think
He was the gym. He might have went to
He
the
was
I think
gym
he
teacher.
ended up being.
What school was this?
I think Mr.
No.
Golston was a principal.
He might have moved,
I know
but Mr. Hasbury.
Punkin whooped the go.
He right,
He fought. Punkin fought with him too.
Punkin
But
fought, yeah, I seen it.
Punkin fought with him later though.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Cause Punkin was younger than me. Punkin fought with him later. I can't think of dude's name. Tell know the name. Tell with the state patrol.
Man, but by time. But you know what? Check it out. Let's go back to that question right quick.
You still alive, ain't
Who that?
Yeah. That's on the Facebook.
Oh,
We didn't ask Boo that question.
no, I'm talking about something else.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let me go back to this question right quick.
Okay.
So, sisterhood. How is different from when you first entered
Oh,
Delta
that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
to now, to what you see in the younger sisters coming in? Like, what would you have like to say to them as far as like the things you experienced and seen?
I mean, the goal of Delta Sigma Theta will always be the same since 1913,
Right.
and that is service.
What? Okay.
Service, scholarship.
But the sisterhood,
But-
you talked about that before. The way you and your
But as far as pledging, I mean, the difference is the hazing.
mom,
Right.
the
Right.
sisterhood
Yeah.
of it. You know, like you were talking about how you and your sorors, it's just certain stuff. It compares to the newer generation of sisterhood. From what you don't want to get on that.
No, I just misunderstood his question.
Yeah, the sisterhood of it.
Oh,
Like
Like,
she was
like,
very
okay, what I mean, I'm
passionate.
gonna break it down.
okay.
Your leaders that brought you in, that you crossed over with,
Right.
what was the difference you seen in your leaders compared to what you said now to you being a top leader to lead the
I
girls that's
don't.
coming in
It's the same. It's the
She ain't gonna
sisterhood.
talk about that.
It's the
You might want to
camaraderie.
get out of that.
I think she been burning you or something.
Mhm. She ain't
I
been
was
saying nothing
he
bad
asking
about
the
them.
question because she really can't adequately answer that question
Well,
because she ain't
can't-
online with the new
can't-
chicks.
can't-
and-
And then she ain't
You
gonna
is-
say nothing bad about them
Can't-
anyway.
can't- Is
It's
anybody here Delta? Who all in here Delta? Who all in here Delta? Everybody.
Are you one?
Look, who
No.
all in here done had the Delta Corona?
So this question to the Delta,
You ain't no comedian. Cut that out.
to the Delta.
My auntie
The
said
Delta
that
88.
when she was online back in the 70s, they used to they had one when she had to take care of her little Aggie.
Was she a Delta?
She is a Delta.
Well, can she speak right now and then? You know,
of course.
because we was asking her a question
You was asking a
until
question
her
that you
daughter
can't quite.
rudely
ask,
interrupted her.
She didn't interrupt. She was trying to help you formulate your question in a manner that would help
Mama
her
wanna
answer
answer.
it more efficient.
You know this?
But she didn't say nothing.
If her ass was a person, if her ass was a person, they'll call it Toya.
Hey, I got a question for the audience.
Okay.
Okay.
The guy with the blue shirt.
Mm-hmm.
10 murderers
10
by
murders.
age, the 90s versus today.
Teen.
Teens.
Teen.
What do you think is worse?
Oh,
How did
Thank-
that happen?
God dang Hey,
that's okay.
what is security?
I don't think the sisterhood today is a little bit.
What's security?
I think the sisterhood back then was a little bit better because
I thought I
We
did.
need security. Style, get the security, man.
I thought I did.
Security.
Give me a baby.
I thought I did.
You might need to
All
walk
my
one out.
soda wasted.
All your water. Thank you.
Back to the audience.
Okay.
We would like to, yeah, did you hear the question? You remember the question?
I did not, and I missed the conversation, so I don't know what all been said.
So
Yeah.
we're trying to compare
This is
murders
question from
by
my-
Teen
teenage
murders.
versus today, teenage murderers.
Oh,
Like,
murderer.
was it more back then or was it more now? Our youth killing people.
It's more now.
That's what I
That's what I
Absolutely
thought.
more now.
no, it ain't.
We
It's
don't-
social media.
we gonna find these statistics.
I
I don't
bet
get
you,
my
I bet
news
you
on social
$1,000.
media. I don't get my news on
1,000
social media.
push-ups.
I bet you 1,000 push-ups.
Bet.
Bet.
Who gonna gonna do it. We taping that.
No, he
Both
gonna
of
do
y'all
it.
lying.
He gonna do it on call.
We gonna tape that. We gonna tape that.
Thank you.
We gonna tape that. We gonna tape that. When is that gonna happen?
I don't know. We have to do
So
statistics.
some
We have to do
research.
We can
statistics.
find that out right now.
We've been looking.
Hold
We
on,
gotta
we gotta
find
do some
it.
research.
Hold on, wait a minute, hold on. Let me do it.
We gonna research.
Y'all
Yeah,
ain't
we gonna
looking up the
research.
right thing.
Okay.
So if you look
You
back
gonna
in
do
the
it,
day,
Calvin?
back in the day, it was
Not at
more
one time.
adult murder.
Killings.
That's what I
The
think.
drug gang and all these guys,
So-
the gang.
So no.
Old heads. in
But
the
think
gang
about it.
back
No. Wow.
then. Yeah, back then it was
Wow.
old
It
heads.
wasn't no old heads in the gang in
Yeah,
Citrus City.
wow.
But it was teenagers.
Man, we was in
Wait,
Central
wait,
City.
This is a broad number. Wait,
But I'm saying
hold on.
we was in Central City.
Hold
Man,
on.
I can tell
Are we
you, I can
talking about-
name
are we
10
talking-
people right now just off the hip.
But wait,
That was 16
Are-
and 17 that lost their life.
are we
I
talking
ain't saying
about?
lost their life.
Hold on, wait.
Just
No,
the
I'm
killers.
talking about the
Hold
killers.
on, wait,
yes.
hold on.
That's what I'm saying.
Are we talking about in Birmingham or everywhere? Because this is.
We just said Jefferson County,
Yeah, Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Jefferson? This don't be Jefferson County.
That's
God
what-
forbid,
through
don't
what
look at
time span?
Wikipedia.
The 90s versus today.
absolutely. But
2021,
around the 90s is actually when it started
It's the
turning.
past.
You understand what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
when it all started changing. That's when it was evolving from everybody getting along, everybody trying to work together to everybody for themselves. And that was around the time that we had where the younger generation, mothers, started having kids and the fathers absent and not around. That's when you start seeing all that. So right now, we're getting the effects from that time. You understand what I'm saying? So when we had young mothers back then having babies and fathers not around to help raise these kids, now we're seeing the results from that. You know what I mean?
Right.
We got teenagers now that's unstable, that's not going to school, that's not
Man.
finishing school. I
And
see
Man, you know
don't
what?
have a grandparent.
You know
that
what?
other
We
kids
can
have.
go from east side Birmingham to west side Birmingham, bro. Man, it's so many youngsters that I knew when we was children from 14 that lost their life. Like straight up. My children ain't experienced that. These children ain't experiencing that, man. These people out here trying to
Our
flex.
children ain't experiencing it that we know other people in other parts of the area are. So that's why I said, what are we talking about? Jefferson County?
You ain't even got no children, so I don't even want to hear
Praise the
that.
Lord.
So don't even.
Well, but
Won't
I
he
mean-
do it?
She could have easily had a child that, she's taken under her wings.
Right, I got children. The Lord let children come by my way when it's time.
I tell you, you got two sponsors today. You got your hair done and makeup done. You'll get them shout out.
Oh, yeah. Shout out. Shout out to
Right.
She tell you her company name. Jemiah didn't tell you her company name.
Jemiah did not tell me her company name, but I got a lot of compliments
Mhm.
off
Okay.
at Showbiz
Okay.
at Kim's today on it.
Yeah.
And
Oh, Kim did your hair.
No,
No.
Okay.
Higher Beauty.
Okay.
Mhm.
You was over there for the fest, the after fest,
Yes, and
when Toy was laying down.
yes, oh
Yes,
yeah,
I
it's
did.
Shaw
Toy
Cook.
taking a
Shout
nap.
out to
What
Shaw
Toy-
Cook.
what Toy was
I
taking a
guess
nap.
I got another question. So I guess.
But
So,
it was fun.
Yes.
Okay, and this will be my final.
Hold on. Yes. Hold on. I got one more, guess. One more.
We got 12 minutes anyways.
One more.
Go ahead,
One
get
more.
it
Check this out. You can't run yet. You can't run. Ready or not, here we come. You can't run. Check this out. So you taught on the beach too, didn't you?
I did. I was on the beach, taught on the beach. They were Caucasians, pretty much.
Okay.
I love them and their parents.
So I know Patrick just was asking you, you had a few sponsors like your hair and things and your makeup. So I want to ask you a question. How was it, being entertained by, the sponsors as far as doing your hair when you was there compared to the here? Did you like your stylist there better or here better?
Well, my stylist was always here.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah,
telling me you used
hairstylist.
to, I ain't asked her daughter, I said the mama.
You got daughter the producer.
Yeah, she the cheerleader in the cut.
I actually used to drive up for months with your wife. Your wife did my hair for many
I
months.
didn't ask you that.
Mhm.
What's the name? Shout out to Tanya.
Shout out to Tanya.
What's the name of Tanya's shop?
Styles.
Well, you don't even know.
I
Yeah.
made it
No.
from.
Where your daughter at now? Your daughter ain't even signed in.
I saw
know.
Ty today and mine.
I know I'm not sitting on top here, but I got a question.
I mean,
for Jen.
that's Tanya. I mean, that's
Jen, I
Kim.
got a question for Jen. I want to go back to what she said earlier. She said that we have kids that's not reading, can't read, not reading on the level they should. And she said we also have parents that can't read and not reading
We got a caller.
on a level
Okay,
that they
let's
should.
see.
Hold on, the caller gotta wait. I got a question. So
Put him on hold.
what's gonna happen is with that statement,
Hold on one second.
what's gonna happen is we're still in the cycle.
We're in that cycle.
How do we get out of that cycle because the kid that can't read now is
One
gonna
second,
become
Paul.
a parent that can't read.
And I'm grinding every day with him.
So how do we get out of that cycle?
We as adults, we as teachers, you know, take a big giant step, to look at these kids and see what their needs and assessment needs are. I mean, we gotta do this. I'm trying to find a program where this kid's mama can go
and learn. All right.
You know what I mean?
Do she want to learn?
Your other point that Jay was talking about, it starts at home.
Yeah, so I want to help her. And she said to me, there's no one ever have tried to teach my son how to read. And you're talking about doing something for me, a program.
We need more teachers like you.
That's
Some
what we
people who
need.
care.
Y'all at the building.
Well, we
To
won't.
show them.
We won't have. You want to know why we won't have more teachers like us?
You don't lie.
You want to know why?
Yeah,
Because of COVID-19.
No, not even that. You want to know why?
You got a caller?
They ain't paying people shit.
Oh, well, they ain't gonna.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm just being honest with
They
you.
don't even pay the police.
How can you have
somebody has to
anything
care.
when you ain't
Yeah.
paying?
Right.
Like
Because
how?
it comes to
I
a
don't
point
want to
where
interrupt y'all.
okay, I'm not making the money, but I care about these people.
And it's the love of the job.
Absolutely.
Someone that's
What?
not on the panel said.
Versus style.
I ain't gonna get in that.
It's the love.
But we got a
We
call
got
on
a
the line.
caller.
Caller.
What up, dog? Call us, say your name and all of that, so we can know who we are.
What's up? The bicycle,
What
this
up,
Eric B coming live
What
to
up,
you
Eric
from
B?
the car.
What up?
What's going on? What's up, bro? Okay.
Yeah,
So
you
the
ready, people?
topic tonight.
Yeah.
The top tonight we've been talking about schools and learning and
Do you have children?
I do have children. They're ages 30, 26, and 24.
You got
Well,
some
you were
grown
busy.
children.
You were busy back then.
So when
wasn't
you
you?
was raising your children, they were children. So
Huh?
they were children like when? I can't add. Doing what?
They was children in the 90s,
That's right.
in the 2000s, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, and
And they still children. They still children today, even at 30. Because they still make childlike decisions.
I agree. That's
So
what I used to hear the
They
elders
still
say.
So
need
these are our
they
adults.
still need
You
a
understand what I'm
father
saying? Like I was
to
saying,
correct
in the
them.
90s,
Yes,
what's going
these
on?
are
Now
our
we're
adults
reaping the
now.
benefits.
So do you think
Yeah,
it's any difference in how you were raising your kids at the time when you were raising them in the 90s? Do you see any difference in the pattern or any way that you were structuring your children different as opposed to how, how we see kids wilding out and all the freedoms that they have today with the social media and different things? Do you see?
There's a big difference.
Okay.
There's a big difference.
All
There's
right.
a big difference in that. During my early 90s with my first son, I was still in the streets myself. I was still doing street stuff. And it took me going to prison right there in the late 90s and coming home in 2000. And then I was operating in manhood. I was operating in adulthood. So I had a different structure. My discipline was different. My counseling was different. So I was able to catch my children right there while they were still children and give them vital instructions for life.
That's right.
And that's probably the only reason that none of them have hit the penitentiary and none of them is not on a T-shirt. Because I gave them that as I had got it. I got it late in the game, but I gave it to them. I wasn't friends with my sons. And mind you, I got all boys.
Okay.
I wasn't friends with them, and we went homeboys. So we had a different relationship. When it came to daddy, when it came to me being a father, I didn't play with them with that.
Right.
Nowadays, you got parents that's friends with their children. They have to appease the child, and they appease them with PlayStations, iPhones,
I say homeboy because
Or to
I
get them
think
out their face
it's,
so they can do what they do.
I think it's wonderful being a friend with your child. I don't think it's a problem with that, but it's rules and regulations with it because I want your friend can mess over you. I'm gonna be your friend. I'm gonna be there for you forever. So you don't have to have a best friend because I'm your best friend. So you don't have to, when you go to your homeboy, when I got a son and I want my son to be my homeboy, I got my daughter and I want that to be my homegirl. Because you know what, you got parents that can hang with their child and they do mother and child things. Like my mom is my best friend. My dad is my best friend. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And guess what?
Yeah.
That best friend relationship don't never part because I don't let another person come in and I look at them as being my best friend and they end up hurting me. Because guess what?
Well, let me break down what I mean by that, my good brother.
Okay.
I totally agree with you on your description of friendship. Right. Well, my description is when your mama is sitting around smoking a blunt with her son and he's still at school.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me?
That's my homeboy.
Okay, and then when you sitting up knowing that your son is selling dope at your house, living with you, and you okay with that because he buy you a pocketbook or he pay two of the bills in the house. That's the friendship that I'm talking about.
Get what they say. That my need. That my need right there. See what I'm saying?
And what that does is what, sir? You're breeding what we're having right now in the street, right. The senselessness that we're seeing, because you okay with what he does or what she does. And now he or she feel like can't nobody out here tell them nothing, especially the school teacher.
Right. Right.
The school teacher can't say nothing to me because my mama let me do this.
Oh, that's out for me.
Ooh, that's fine.
And I talk to my mama like this. So who in the hell who are you to think that I ain't gonna talk to you like this?
That's right.
And so the teacher sitting back saying, my God, I've never seen nothing like this right here. This magnitude of disrespect. Mm-hmm. And then when the parent come up there, the teacher can put it together and conclude why the child is acting like he or she is.
Well, what about about the one that whooping their mama?
Oh my goodness!
Oh, look, that little boy that slapped his mama on what is that? The doctor, the little psychiatrist, the white doctor. It was a little white kid on there. He slapped 5 from his mama. He slapped the monkey balls off of her ass. I couldn't believe it.
And then they say, "Time out, Billy."
Yeah.
He said, "Foul." She said, "Why did you do that, man?"
And see what's supposed to happen right then was a male figure. He probably was nowhere on the scene.
Right.
Yeah. No father. Right. No crazy uncle. You see what I'm saying? Nobody to jack him up and let him know you never cross that line.
After I got through stomping all the holes he thought he had in his body in him, because she still got body mass over him. Why she still got that kind of control? I'd have beat the monkey shit out of him. I'd have dogged him out. I'd have drug him out through the street. He'd have known next time he raised his hand to me. Oh, he can go with the police.
We are dealing with a generation, man, that is we can't wrap our minds around.
But that's what they understand, because that's what they look at. They play the video games, they look at the programs that steering their mind in a certain direction because they ain't got no reason. If you're going, and again, I go back to my God thing, and that's another conversation. But you take God out of everything, take God. Don't nobody want to go to church. Everybody want to argue about the Bible. Don't nobody want to believe in shit. So you don't want to believe in that. That means the devil is just all over you. So you just got to deal with whatever come your way. Deal with it.
That's right.
Wouldn't you rather have Jesus than the devil?
On the flip side, I say this, because you could be a Muslim and have structure. To me, it goes back to structure. See, we fail to realize, you can be
but
a
that's
Muslim.
A God in Muslim.
But what I'm saying is that structure
right
home,
with a God in it.
Regardless of that, it's all about
with a
structure. But listen, it's still about structure.
Exactly, with a God in it. That's
you
what I
still-
just said.
No, you
Yes.
have structure. You know what I'm saying? And that comes from the parenting.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because just because you know that,
Yes.
that still don't give you structure.
But they
Your
gotta
parents
guide it.
still got to guide you and give you the
Exactly.
structure along with that teaching.
Exactly.
Because you're gonna ask those
But it
questions.
still
Well,
gotta
you know,
guide it.
I hear again, going back to my point. That's what parents' responsibilities are. It's to build a foundation for those children.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
share the
Structure.
story, guys.
All right, Eric. With that being said, what you had said, murders by teenagers in the 90s versus today, which is worse?
It's worse today. We
Thank
never
you.
saw.
We all say
We
it.
never saw
That's our kind of shit.
the rate of murders and the senseless murders like we're seeing today.
Yes.
I beg to differ.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
just
you
in one
can bet.
cell.
You know
You
what?
can.
Want to know why I beg to differ? Because you know what? You seeing it right now through social media.
That's what
We
we're
didn't
talking
have-
about.
But no, we didn't have social media then. We didn't have social media then.
I was out there in the 90s. Eric was out there in the
That's what
90s.
makes the difference.
I was.
Now
too.
that's what
you try to
I'm gonna
say
let. I'm gonna let him beg to differ.
in one category.
But I was a participator.
Right.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
understand me? I put some numbers up.
Right.
And I know that the numbers then versus the numbers now is nowhere in comparison. And I can pull those stats up now. We can all.
Pull 'em up.
That's
Pull 'em up.
statistics.
B, pull them up. I guarantee you.
I'm
it's
saying we're
not.
gonna pull this between
And the
9 next
thing
Friday.
is-
I'm gonna find the stats.
Fam.
But
Hey, listen. I don't. This is not my first rodeo with this.
Yeah, but
I
we got 1,000
Hey,
push-ups on that.
Hey,
All that's all they know.
B,
We'll just
come
go to
on,
100
Hey, B.
push-ups.
Hold on. Eric B, get ready. Come on over here and do your 1,000 push-ups.
Listen, we'll just do 100.
Right, you gonna bust your chest.
B, I want you to get ready to come over here and get ready to do these 1,000 push-ups.
We doing
B,
100
hold on.
100.
B,
Hey, Jay.
B, I want
Jay,
to know your
here's the
numbers.
thing.
100
Here's the thing. I can do 1,000 push-ups, no problem.
You see,
I know.
But here's the thing. I know you can't, and you gonna succeed.
Hey, I bet you I can. Check this out. Come on, B. Get ready.
100. What I think
Let me
is
see who I
what
can call
y'all
right quick
talking
and get
about.
them
Everybody may
Go
be right.
on
I've
get
been
those
trying
stacks,
to get
baby.
them. We're gonna get it,
And everybody
I mean, we can get it
numbers.
posted tomorrow. We got
Man,
time
look.
to get it.
But he talking
Both of
about
y'all get
like
ready.
black on black gangster crime type of stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, now that's just one thing. Now, if you pull that out as in comparison to what you talking about in the decade of the 90s between 90 and 2000, what are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about from.
As it, because it got to be a time limit. Because if you're going to compare it to
Okay,
that,
you
we
don't
in
go
2022.
We version the 90s versus now.
So
That's
if
what
we
it
go,
is.
okay, but you got
And the numbers gonna be high and on this end because listen, we didn't even have the mindset that these kids got today.
and that's
Man.
what I'm
That's
saying.
just
That's
the
just one
technology, brother.
thing. But
That's
hold
just
on.
the
And not only that,
not that.
listen, we didn't even have the weapons that they're using today, bro.
And that's
Oh,
just
we
one
had some
thing.
weapons.
You had poverty. You had more poverty.
What?
You had poverty.
What is
Everybody
that?
was poor.
Poverty.
That ain't got nothing to do with it. Shit, these kids.
Listen, that ain't got
kids
nothing to
strapped
do
regardless
with
these days.
Man, let me say
What
something.
I'm saying is that's
Put, hey,
that's one
pull it,
thing.
Pull it up. Pull
That's
it up.
one category.
Pull
That's
it.
just
No. You
You
know
talking
what?
about like killing
Guys,
each other
guys,
with gangsters.
excuse me. I think that this could go on and on and on and on.
And
And
it will until we get the facts.
you gotta get the facts.
So
So who doing that homework?
We'll do the homework. We'll cut it
And
off
we'll
right
be
now.
signing off
the facts.
without the facts.
No, we'll get the facts.
Right, we said that.
We'll
And all I'm gonna do is sing a song.
Get
So
the facts and let's discuss it on
All right,
Sunday.
Eric, you gonna tell everybody
Drop it
who
in the
you
box.
is and say
what you
goodbye.
want me to sing?
Hey, I appreciate y'all calling me, man. I wish
No.
y'all to call me earlier because I wasn't doing that. I would have came in there.
We thank you for yes. Come in next week.
Hey, B.
Yo, bro.
B, I want you to have one of them tight tank tops on.
Oh yeah.
B,
I got
I'm gonna be ready for you, B.
You doing 100
Hit them
push-ups.
hands, baby. Ah!
So next
All
week,
right.
people.
All
Next
right,
week,
B.
people, we gonna
We
have
appreciate you calling.
Birmingham
Okay, bro.
J
All
and
right.
B doing
All right.
these.
No, we gonna have Pat.
Hold on, B.
Pat.
Hold on, B.
You gonna
Hold
slide
on.
Pat out.
Pat ain't doing it. It's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
the B's, the Birmingham J and Eric B doing that.
How you gonna slide him out?
Who gonna do that if he ain't over there?
Parker, the producer, she gonna do that.
Okay, well, I guess we finna go. Now, so this is our song, So Much Joy. And this pays homage to Maze and Frank and Beverly. So what I'm gonna do is
Girl, let the folks hear this shit.
I'm gonna post this to our website so y'all can get a chance to look at the video. And we want you all to like, share, and subscribe. This is the bicycle from Birmingham, Jay. And we have Miss Deborah McKinney in the house. Everybody
Thank
give
you
her a
for
round of
having me.
applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
We ain't got no clap.
Yeah.
Okay. Good, thank you. Right. Okay. Right. And we got over here to my left, your right, we got Birmingham J, your mom.
Stop calling my damn name. Call your name. What your name is?
Toy Matthews,
Thank
aka
you.
Toy Victorious. I am Latoya, which means victorious.
With that shit on her head. And we have my cousin, the beautiful Deb McKinney in the building. You know what I'm saying?
And we got the 4741 media crew over here. We got today, we got Aisha, the girl you never had over here in our producer booth. And we got Pat, the CEO. And we got my man here. What's your name, my man? One more time. Hollywood Herman over here in this boy, letting y'all know what it is, what y'all need to do. So, check us out next week. We hope we
You can tell when somebody on little tips or something. God
see
damn.
how folks do. I got this poem I'm gonna do when we get ready to post up and do some stuff. It's called I Can Have a Drink. And y'all gonna feel that. Y'all gonna relate to it and whatever. But you know.
Peace.
Check out our videos.
Yeah. We are the Bicycle.
Lauren Lyons, So Much
4741
Joy.
Media in the building.
Word.
Right.
Yo.
Well, I enjoy it.